Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals here on this Thursday. Happy birthday, Kylie. Let's say that every time. Joined now by our good friend, Coach Steve Aird from Indiana Volleyball. Coach, welcome aboard, man.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Pretty good, brother. How are you?
I'm well. Doing what most everyone's doing, staying out of trouble, staying out of the way, homeschooling 3 young kids. I got a 9-year-old, 7-year-old, and a 4-year-old who just got done with their homeschooling last week. So much love to the middle school and kindergarten teachers out there. They're better than I am.
My first question to you is, how are you not gaining 1,000 pounds? Because I happen to know your wife is like one of the most premier chefs around, and you just happen to have that built in at home. Man, I would be gaining 100 pounds.
Lucky. Yeah, we're lucky. We got a home gym. Every morning I wake up, I work out, I try to sweat to make up for what's going to happen the rest of the day. And actually, we're fortunate, man. We're fortunate. The kids probably don't know how good it is, but I certainly do, and we're lucky.
Speaking of which, Todd, we've got Coach Aird with us. The greatest, highest ranked class in volleyball history at IU this past season. We knew it was good, but man, this is exactly where you wanted to be right now.
Yeah, we're fortunate. We're really proud of. I'm really proud of the staff. I'm really proud of the department at IU. All the supporting cast, the people. Recruiting really takes a village. It's one of those things, especially 24 months in. When we got here, one of our stated goals was to try to do just this. So we're fortunate. We got a great class, great kids, and obviously making history early is a positive thing.
You've got a lot of great players coming in from all over the country, and that's, as we've seen, people that follow college volleyball, the Big Ten is a juggernaut, the toughest conference that there is in that sport. And so to play that type of competition night in, night out almost when the conference comes around, you've got to have that level of player, and you're getting to that point now with these type of players.
Yeah. We've got some really nice young talent in the program. Obviously, this is a huge class, bringing in eight players, which is certainly more than I usually bring in a current year. But it was just the way it worked out. We graduated a number of kids that are going into the real world now, and hopefully really prepared to do so. It's a massive group. It's a very competitive group, and we talk about with a lot of sports, having a few good players is what a lot of programs have. When you get to the point where you have depth, where if you have an injury or someone's ill or something happens, the wheels don't fall off. That's the next big step. So we think this is the first of a bunch of pretty good classes in a row. And obviously we know the Big Ten is a challenge, and we're not assuming that we've arrived by any means, but this is a heck of a first step.
In volleyball recruiting, is there a hotbed area of the country? Like I know football, everybody talks about Texas and Florida recruiting, and in basketball, Indiana is one of them. Is there a hotbed recruiting for volleyball across the country?
Yeah, well, I'd say Indiana to begin with. I mean, much like Coach Miller's doing, we're trying to attract the best player in the state every year. We've been fortunate the next few years. We're positioned pretty well to bring in some really elite Indiana talent. I think that's one of the things that the program really needs to do, and we're going to spend a lot of time doing. But the sport has exploded. I mean, it's the premier women's sport in the Big Ten. There's over 500,000 players at the club level. It's the second most popular sport in the world, and it's growing and growing and growing. So there's great volleyball all over the country, and our job is to try to recruit the best talent that has a mutual interest in us.
Well, I've gone to a lot of national AAU basketball tournaments, and I've seen how big they are. And I think, not having been a part of it, I was at an area where they were having a national volleyball tournament several years ago in the summertime. And so we stopped in to look at it, and I was absolutely blown away at how it dwarfed the basketball tournament. It was so much bigger, and it really, opened my eyes to what a growing sport volleyball. I know it was already pretty big, but it is it's the new soccer of when soccer exploded for younger kids. I think volleyball and especially younger women's volleyball clubs are just blowing up bigger than any sport, I think, in the country right now.
There's no doubt. And we're used to going to tournaments where there's 140 courts and, 20,
I saw that. It was so
and,
impressive to see.
Yeah, it's been massive. It's at the same time, there's a finite number of players. Like we've got 4 or 5 kids who are all ranked in the top 100, 150 players in the country that are in this class. So it's the same thing. We want to be at the table with the top programs in the country. We want to be able to win the recruiting battles against top 10 teams. And this class has certainly, begun to put us at that level where we can have those conversations with parents and kids and say, if you want to do everything at the highest level, you can do that at IU.
Yeah, I think volleyball is a unique sport because it's one that the parents of kids play in league games and whatnot. It is a popular sport out just amongst Americans. You mentioned is one of the most popular sports in the country. It is because so many people can play, and there are so many leagues, and kids can play in so many different places in the country because it's an easier sport that you can move indoors and play year round. But taking advantage of that talent in this state has been, how much of a challenge has that been, changing the mindset that Indiana is a place to come?
Well, I think it starts with our staff not being afraid to recruit people. I mean, that's the number one thing is I want to be in the battles with the top programs. I want to be able to explain to people we've got an unbelievable degree that we offer at IU. We've got a world-class facility. It's a staff that's won national championships and trained pros. And I think that's the first part of it is, I really tried to get out and around the state when we first got the job and just be overt about the fact that we wanted to recruit the state. We weren't afraid to get into these battles and tell people that we really believed in what we were doing. And that's resonated. And a lot of the people in the state are really excited about what we're doing. I'm really excited about the relationships we're building. IU is it's a special place. The people, IU folks know that. And when you get people on campus and they get to see where we're playing now, the level that we're going to be playing at, and the kind of talent we have coming in, good players want to play with good players. So the more classes like this we have, the better chance we have of getting this rolling.
You keeping Jeremy in line?
Yeah. He's everyone around us has done a really, really good job. I'm really proud of, and that's, you guys see that all the time. When a staff recruits a class, the head coach always gets a lot of love, but it's, it takes so many people that work selfishly and like long hours and really grind to put yourself in that position. And that's the one thing I will say about IU. They've done everything. We've been here 24 months. In the time we've been here as a staff, everything they said they were going to do, they did. And that just speaks to the character of Fred Glass. And, I'm excited to work with Scott, our new AD, moving forward. And all of their staff have been so incredibly generous with us and kind to us. And I know they're excited as well.
Yeah, I guess the big thing is the hope that you guys can get going in the fall to get the season underway. I know that all that stuff's in question right now for all of us, but I know the hope is there that that's going to move forward. And the talk has been possibly a kind of a students in live person, but a lot of online. So it's whether or not they can get them on campus. How fearful are you of the season starting and all of that?
Well, not fearful. I think the number one thing for all of us, and you guys would echo this as well, we want people to stay safe. We want to do everything we can to try our best to mitigate things and make it as safe as possible. We know, when we talk to Dr. Rink and the people who are way, way smarter than I am, they say, there's going to be risk. There's no question, but it's about how you manage it. And so keeping our kids healthy to the best of our ability is certainly at the top of our minds, the front of our minds. And then, we talk a lot about it as a program about just controlling the controllables. Like, we're trying to win today, have a really good day today. The kids are staying fit. They're staying positive. I've been so impressed with our group and these young kids about how positive they're being and how hard they're working. And then when they tell us it's safe to go and we can get back after it, that's what we'll do. And we can't really control the stuff we can't control. We can just work hard and try to keep each other positive and keep banging away at this thing.
Yep, Coach, I can't thank you enough for joining us, man, and keep up the fight. And we'll look forward to hopefully seeing you in the fall and seeing some fun volleyball.
I appreciate it. Thanks for the time, guys, and stay healthy.
This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.